Hello. Okay, I think I can show you how to do that. So you've got two layers stacked on top of each other, both that have sort of some strong black in them, and you want the black to blur into the other black. A couple of things I would suggest you do. One thing you can try and do is just putting a simple soft border on the picture-in-picture, and that will give it a blurred edge. So straight away that will help out a bit, and you can do that by just going into the effect editor for your picture-in-picture effect, and there is under border a blend option, and you can grab the soft edge, and that will sort of give it a blurry edge. Unfortunately, it does it the whole way around the frame, which you may not want necessarily, but that gives you a bit of a blur. The best thing to do would be to actually color grade it to get a uniform black. So I'm just going to undo that. Now, in terms of what we're doing with the color grade is you want to get a whole range of blacks to be the same black, because it's unlikely that even on your one that it's the same shade of black the whole way across the background. Depending on the lighting, you probably have some bits that are slightly darker and some bits that are slightly lighter. So when we color grade it, you want to kind of tell it, grab this whole range and make them the same black. That's sort of step one. And then step two is telling it what value to make that black. When you were saying you want to set it to absolute black, there is actually a value for that, and so you do that for both of your tracks as well. So in order to do that, you go into color correction mode, this one down here, and mine looks a little bit different than the ones at uni. It's got some extra plugins in here, but you should end up, normally with your monitor in the middle there. I can make that a little bit bigger. There we go. And what you do is you'd find your curves control. You go to your master and come to the far left, bottom left, where the keyframe for your blacks and shadows are, and you just click and drag that keyframe and drag it across to the right, keeping it completely on the bottom. So rather than lifting it up, you want to force it to stay to the bottom of the grid, but drag it across to the left. To the right, and just keep doing that until, as you can see on the t-shirt, let me zoom in there, at some point, no, it's not letting me do that. At some point what will happen is you'll see all of the shirts black just become the same kind of black, that you won't end up with any variation left in that part of the frame. Now you'll see it is also affecting the face. You can't really get around that. If there's that black somewhere else in the frame, then it's doing it across the whole frame. But I'd kind of come across to there somewhere so that then everything is the one black. The next thing you want to do though is make sure that that black is actually what we call broadcast safe. And it's to do with if that video is ever distributed, broadcast online, not broadcast online, sorry, broadcast on TV. There's a limitation to how far things can be in terms of their contrast. And even though yours may not go online, it'll be just a helpful kind of way of setting this black at the same value as when we go back and do it to the other layer. So in order to kind of set what the definitive black, or what you're calling absolute black, is, you do it through this thing called a Y waveform. And the way you get your Y waveform up is you go to your previous monitor that probably is currently showing the shot before, and where it says previous, you click on it and it gives you some other displays, and there'll be one for Y waveform. And it gives you this sort of sciencey looking sci-fi graph thing. And it's showing you, again, the range of luminosity. So this up the top is like the high whites. So you can see that there's a lot of white in your shot because that's all the sky here. And then down here is the shadow. And you'll notice that it's kind of fallen out of the green safe zone. So what I want to do is punch that back up to be back into the green. And I'm just going to get it exactly on that line, and then that's where I'll stop. And you'll do the same on the other layers as well. So to do that, you go through on your HSL. So I think on the ones at uni, it's got HSL, then controls down the side. The one that gives you these controls for hue, saturation, brightness. It also has a control for clip low. And so if you turn that on, all this does is it just clips off how black the image is allowed to be. And so I can bring this up, and as I bring it up, you'll notice that the Y waveform is changing, and it is actually changing the image as well because it's denying the image from having a certain amount of black in it. And so what I want to do is get that sort of exactly at the point where there's no longer any white showing up in this graph up here, which looks like it's about there, 17, maybe 18. Cool, and so that will now mean that this is all, as you'll see, just a solid black. There's no more, very little over the side here, no more variation that we could see in the folds of the shirt before. Now it's all just one solid color, and the black over here should be the same value as the black over here, as the black up here. So I would just suggest you repeat that process then for all of the layers that are in your shot. So in this case, I go back down onto the track below, and we color grade that shot. So turn this one on, let's come in here and repeat the process. So go to my curves, drop the black to the point where that whole shirt is sort of the same color, and then come across my HSL and just clip it so that there isn't any white. So about there. And so that should mean that these two images, yeah, you can't see that line anymore because it's the exact same black on this layer as it is on that layer. And that doesn't even have the blurred edge now. So you might even be able to get away with not having a filtered edge on your frame if you can match the black using this method. It's sometimes referred to as crushing your blacks. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit time consuming, but it'll guarantee that the actual Y waveform value of your black is the same on all of your layers, and that then you've also color graded it so that it selects that whole range of shadows and forces them to be the same value. Cool, alright, good luck. Woo.